What's going on, Newborn Nation? It's your boy, Newbornkilik here, welcoming you to the first in what is hopefully a long line of gaming theories. I'm not going to say game theory, because that is a much better show. But I do have a couple ideas, and I would like to share them with you and get your feedback. Today, I want to talk about the Haunted Wastelands in the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. More specifically, this structure here, and how I believe this structure may hold more meaning than anyone thought before. Now, chances are, even if you've played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, you probably don't recognize the Haunted Wastelands by name, which is fair, because, you spent about, 5 minutes there, the entire game. Now, the main reason you would come to the Haunted Wastelands is to get led to the Spirit Temple, but we'll get back to that guy later. There really isn't that much to do here. Other than get scanned by some guy on probably the coolest carpet in all of Zelda history, and explore this very strange building. All that you'll actually find here are some pots. Usually one of them will have a fairy. 2 torches, when lit, these will spawn a chest containing 50 rupees, so pretty good find. Remember that, everyone. It will be on the test. I always found this area very confusing, and I would actually come back here and search for secrets when I didn't want to complete the quest, which was a lot because I was kind of a cowardly kid. I just kind of like to explore the landscape, but that's beside the point. Bear in mind, this was before data mining was commonplace, so anything could have been here. That was back when we were still looking for that Triforce somewhere that's in the game, you know? Think about it. This seems like a lot of effort to give us just such a small area to explore. This area actually loads separately from the wasteland itself. Fun fact. I actually used to think that this was Ganondorf's house. Why the king would live outside the fortress with everyone else is beyond me. But after some thinking, I actually have a couple ideas that I would like your opinions on. Theory number 1 is that this might be the grave of some unknown person, most likely the person who leads you through the Haunted Wastelands. Or the second theory, and infinitely more interesting to dive into, that this is the site that the Gerudo actually use to prepare their dead for the afterlife. Let me explain. Here's something that might help support both theories. To my knowledge, no one ever actually speaks of this structure. Not even the Gerudo. Those are the people that you would assume would have something to do with it. They live right next to it. Bear in mind, a lot of cultures really aren't comfortable talking about death. The superstitious might believe that you are actually inviting death to your front door at that point. Another piece of supporting evidence for both of these ideas is this. Did you see it? I hope so. It was actually pretty obvious. The chest actually drops behind you so that you can get it on the way out the door, or up the ladder through the darkness. Anyway, so you can get it on your way out. Wouldn't it be so much more satisfying if it appeared between the torches? Get some, symmetry, okay? And now I have to basically trip over this thing to get out. Thanks. Doesn't that seem a little bit fishy to you? And then again, it would be pretty disrespectful to drop the chest on a grave, or anywhere commonly associated with your dead ancestors. And I'm not even going to go into the amount of germs that would be there if they use this place to put dead people on all the time. It is pretty unclear what the process taking place here might actually be. I'm kind of leaning towards mummification myself, or something thereof. In the Master Quest version of the Ocarina of Time, you can actually find Gerudo fairly commonly in the Spirit Temple. I thought for sure that they were just there. I remember so vividly not playing the Master Quest version and seeing Gerudo all over the place in that damn temple. But, maybe that's a Berenstain effect happening again. So are there 1,000 universes or something? And I just happened to get placed into the one as a kid that had Gerudos in the Spirit Temple? Does anyone else remember that? Or am I the only one? But the Spirit Temple is apparently a place of worship to the Sand Goddess, so it makes sense that they may offer their dead to the goddesses when they die. But we're getting into unproven stuff here. I really have no evidence to support that. It's just kind of theory crafting at that point. But it's an interesting thing to think about nonetheless, and I'd like to know your opinions on it. So now that we've covered what this structure might actually have been used for, where does the spirit that leads Link to the Desert Colossus fit into all this? I believe this spirit is meant to represent the ferryman Charon of the River Styx. Quickly, if you don't know the mythology of the River Styx, it's basically you have to pay a toll to ride a ferry across the River Styx to get to the entrance of the underworld. I know that sounds really strange, but think about it. What were we just given in the room below? We got 50 rupees from that chest. In the mythology, the family of the deceased would commonly leave a coin in the mouth of the body to pay the toll. Granted, our spirit friend never asks for money, but if he did, that would basically be the last nail in the coffin, right? You can't make it too easy to theorycraft these things, can you? Bear in mind, this is the same guy that says, I'll be your guide on your way, but coming back, I won't play. Kind of a weird thing to say, right? This is a one-way trip, and why would he need to show someone the way back if he's used to showing spirits the way to their final resting place? I tend to trust the theory of this being the place where the Gerudo would prepare the dead for burial more than this being a grave itself. After all, this game lets you raid graves all the time. You literally go into a graveyard and just raid most of the graves. I mean, that's how you get one of the vital items in the game, which you then rudely discard. Actually, now that I think about it, rude. Think about it. It makes sense. They prepare the body for burial, and at the same time, the spirit of the deceased is being led to their final resting place. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this Zelda Theory. These might be some interesting points to think about. This video isn't really about, making like, oh, this is a definitive thing that is true, I have all the proof. I more so just wanted to open this up to build a discussion about these sorts of things, because I am actually genuinely curious about what in the world this building is. It's so seemingly unimportant. It seems to have no purpose. So why is it here? But anyway, let me know what you think about this theory down below. If I missed anything, let me know. I want to perfect this and make this a pretty awesome hypothesis that we have going on here. And don't forget to show your support if you enjoyed this style of video and would like to see more in the future. Anyway, I'm Newbornkilik, and I will see you in the next one. I'm out. In the mythology, the family of the deceased would commonly leave. In the mythology, the family of the deceased would commonly leave. In the mythology, the family of the deceased would commonly leave. In the mythology, the family of the deceased would commonly leave in the mouth of the body. Forgot coin.